Picture this: a single strand of hair, a drop of blood, even the faintest trace you leave behind. It can expose every secret you've ever tried to hide. DNA, the hidden code of life, has become the most powerful detective humanity has ever known. It solves cases once thought impossible. But there's a darker side. The same DNA, in the wrong hands, can destroy innocent lives. And now comes a new force: artificial intelligence. It can scan millions of faces, analyze voices, even predict crimes before they happen. But remember, AI isn't just in the hands of law enforcement. Criminals use it too, to build weapons, to create fake alibis, even to impersonate the innocent. So the question is technology the ultimate guardian of justice? Or the most dangerous weapon humanity has ever created? That's the mystery we're about to uncover in this series, where every episode reveals how DNA and AI are reshaping crime, sometimes solving it, sometimes creating it. But before we step into tonight's chilling case, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because once you hear what's coming, you won't want to miss a single episode. Tonight, we begin with a monster, a predator who haunted California for decades. He slipped into homes, terrorized couples, and killed without mercy. A killer who mocked investigators, laughing in the dark, until DNA finally ripped away his mask. This is the story of the Golden State Killer. California in the 1970s looked like paradise. Golden beaches, palm trees swaying in the wind, families settling into safe suburban neighborhoods where children played freely in the streets. But while the sunshine painted a perfect picture, shadows were creeping into the heart of the suburbs. In Sacramento, quiet neighborhoods began to change. Windows pried open, sliding doors left ajar, jewelry, coins, even worthless trinkets stolen. But sometimes, nothing was taken at all. Instead, homeowners woke to a nightmare truth. A stranger had been inside, moving through their rooms, touching their belongings, watching as they slept. At first, police thought it was simple burglary. They were wrong. The crimes escalated. Women began reporting terrifying assaults. A man slipping into homes late at night, armed with a flashlight and a gun. Victims bound with shoelaces, gagged. Hours of torment, whispered threats in the dark. He even raided their kitchens, eating food while his victims lay helpless. And if the woman wasn't alone, the cruelty grew worse. Husbands and boyfriends were tied face down, forced to listen, while he assaulted the woman just feet away. This wasn't only violence, it was domination, psychological terror. He wanted absolute control, and when he took it, Sacramento police gave him a name: the East Area Rapist. But by 1979, his crimes took an even darker turn. Burglary was no longer enough. Assault was no longer enough. Now he killed. Couples in Southern California found slaughtered in their homes, tied, gagged, executed in silence. The killer vanished into the night, leaving only fear behind. The press called him something new: the original Night Stalker. No one realized the truth. The East Area Rapist in Sacramento and the original Night Stalker in Southern California were the same man, a predator, evolving from burglar to rapist to murderer, a phantom, a shadow, untouchable. Police launched a massive manhunt. Thousands of tips poured in. Neighborhoods formed watch groups. Guard dogs were bought, locks reinforced. Fathers slept with shotguns by their beds. Detectives collected shoe prints, fingerprints, and even DNA. But in the late 70s and early 80s, forensic science was primitive. DNA was just a code. It couldn't yet give a name. Every crime scene felt like a taunt. Every murder, a message. You can't catch me. California lived in fear. Headlines screamed terror. Families whispered at night, "What if we're next?" And then silence. The long silence. By 1986, the attacks stopped. No more break-ins, no more rapes, No more murders. Had he died? Moved away? Or been arrested for some other crime? Nobody knew. For the victims and their families, silence wasn't peace. It was torture. Decades passed with no answers. Survivors carried scars that never healed, and whole communities lived with the memory of a faceless predator who once ruled their nights. DNA, the silent witness. By the 1990s and 2000s, everything changed. DNA analysis had revolutionized criminal investigations. A single drop of blood, a strand of hair, could now identify one person out of billions. Cold cases reopened across the country, and when detectives retested the samples from California's nightmare crimes, the truth was revealed. The East Area rapist, the original Night Stalker, were the same man. The Golden State Killer finally had a name, a nickname. But still, his real identity remained hidden. The genealogy gamble. Then came 2018. Investigators tried something bold, something no one had done before in a case like this. Instead of relying only on police DNA databases, they uploaded the Golden State Killer's DNA to genealogy websites, the same kind people use to trace family trees or find long-lost cousins. It was risky, controversial. Some called it a violation of privacy, but it worked. The DNA revealed distant relatives. Detectives built out massive family trees, tracing births, marriages, obituaries. Piece by piece, the branches narrowed, until one name stood out: Joseph James DeAngelo. The shocking arrest. DeAngelo wasn't just anyone. He was a former police officer, a man sworn to protect the public, had instead hunted them in the dark. Investigators followed him closely. They collected DNA from his trash, from a tissue he threw away. When tested, the results were undeniable. The Golden State Killer had been unmasked. Neighbors were stunned. To them, DeAngelo was just a quiet, grumpy old man. But behind that frail exterior was the predator who had terrorized an entire state. In April of 2018, Joseph James DeAngelo was arrested. The monster was finally caged. The courtroom confession. In 2020, DeAngelo faced the court. Old, weak, sitting in a wheelchair, he no longer looked like the powerful predator of the past. But when he spoke, his words carried the weight of decades of pain. "I admit," he whispered. He confessed to 13 murders and more than 50 rapes. But experts believe the true number may be far higher. Survivors cried. Families wept. Some found closure. Others found only more questions. But one truth was undeniable. The Golden State Killer's reign of terror was finally over. Joseph James DeAngelo was sentenced to life in prison. No escape. No second chances. Just a lifetime in a cage. The Golden State Killer case became one of the greatest victories of forensic science. DNA solved what decades of police work could not. But victory came with a question. If investigators can upload DNA to genealogy websites, what does that mean for privacy? Could your DNA from a simple ancestry test one day put you under suspicion? And now, with artificial intelligence rising, the questions grow darker. AI can scan millions of faces in seconds. It can recreate voices. It can even generate fake video evidence. It can catch a killer, but it can also create the perfect false alibi. Imagine being accused of a crime because AI-generated footage proved you were there. Imagine your DNA being misinterpreted, pointing to you instead of the real suspect. Technology is a double-edged sword. It brought justice in the Golden State Killer case, but in the wrong hands, it could create nightmares we haven't even imagined yet. Tonight, the Golden State Killer sits behind bars, but the questions remain. What happens when DNA points to the wrong person? What happens when AI helps criminals vanish instead of being caught? And what if the next predator isn't even human, But a machine? This is just the beginning of our series. We'll uncover more cases where DNA and AI have solved the impossible, and where they've created terrifying new dangers. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because next episode, we dive even deeper into the shadowy future of crime, technology, and the thin line between justice and danger.